right. Hey, folks, are we live? Let's find out. We got a little bit of intro routine to go through, and so let's see if the sound is coming through. Wow, that's coming through loud and clear. Fantastic. Hey, I don't have a background today. How about that? Well, I'll just accept that as it is. Maybe I don't have to. Hold on. Let me see if I can accept that as it is. There we go. Ha. Never mind, the world behind the curtain. All right, so I'm going to grab this up here, and I'm going to post on Twitter that I'm live, and then I'm going to punch out some notes onto the Discord real quick. I'll go through my origin story with you while I do that. And while I do that, what you're looking at on screen here right now is one of the illustrations that I created in the book Elemental Key. It was basically converting the Way of the Five Elements, the monk tradition, Way of the Four Elements, into a half-caster class, using the general principles of the monk, but basically making them half-casters. And so there's like a 15-page book. There's actually a link to it in the description down below in the Color Mana Spell Point Variant Rules. Here, I'll fetch that up for you to see here. There. Inside here, inside this bundle here, which is linked in the description down below, you can grab hold of the, you can take a look at the book if you think it's cool. God bless you for purchasing it if you decide to. But my name is Phil Kearney. Hey, I create role-playing games. I illustrate them and I publish online. I've been creating D&D content since 2017. I've been running games of D&D since 1987. So I've been around a few blocks. I actually started creating content in D&D. I became a Magic the Gathering enthusiast in 1994, I think. And so when Magic the Gathering started having, Wizards bought owns Magic the Gathering, and then they bought D&D, and that's awesome because who doesn't want to play D&D with Magic the Gathering? And the color mana idea is so cool. So when the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, Strixhaven, Theros, when they were publishing those books earlier in the 5th edition, there was a hope that there would have been conversation about the color mana system, to be a way to express magic in the D&D game setting, and it wasn't, because the philosophy of Wizards is take narratives and redesign or reconstruct them or reimagine them using the player's handbook classes, magic system, mechanics of the 5e game that you already know. So you're basically playing a D&D 5e game in Strixhaven, a D&D 5e game in Ravnica. Maybe you want to talk about, is it being red and blue, but the Wizards of the Coast don't provide any information about it. So it's left to DMs to decide if that's something they want to embrace, and it's a lot of work to rebuild what I now call a magic paradigm. The 8 schools of magic is a magic paradigm. It is how magic is expressed. The 8 aspects of that paradigm are the schools. And in Magic the Gathering, the 5 color mana system, the 5 color magic, that is the paradigm. And the 5 aspects of that system are the colors of Magic the Gathering: white, blue, black, red, green. So, in a circle. So, was it white, blue, black, red, green in the circle around me as the 10 guilds of Ravnica. So that's basically how the wheel works. And this is my X Twitter page. If you're on the X Twitter platform, I'm at Phil Kearney. I post artwork that I do, so you can take a look at it more closely if you want to. Coupons when I stream. Different books, like the Spelljammer book that I created, that's on the DMsGuild. And along with that is all of the more. Here's a bunch of other books like the Color Mana System I've been talking about, Point Warlocks, Pacts and Patrons of Ravnica, all the cool stuff. And so like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications when I'm live in the future. And that is, it's my intro. So we are, well, actually, that's a lie. We are currently building. Let's do that. Okay, we got 2 projects on our plate right now. We got the Forgotten Monk Archetypes of 2024. That's not the official title. It's a book of all the archetypes that are not going to be published in 2024 using 2024 language as best we understand it. So we're studying what's available out there and then redefining these forgotten classes so that they're usable for folks. We're building an anthology out of it, and we're going to put it on the DMsGuild as close to 2017 as we can, after we can confirm what all the rules actually are, that our instincts were right. So that's really fun. So I built them out. First off, I need to provide the flavor text description of each of these things. But as we dive into that, Adam Hancock, our editor, has provided a slew of edits and updates that I either make modifications to or accept to be able to proceed. So we're going to be working on that. So I'm going to drop that here into the 4th place position. But right now what I want to do is we've been designing the martial power system for over the past year, maybe and a half at this point. And so this is going to use the color mana system where your mana points are assigned to different colors. You can use universal mana like monks where there is no paradigm. It's just points and you spin them on whatever you want. Cheers. That's also the default spell point system that we use. But then there's also the color mana system, the color mana paradigm, where you devote each point to a specific color, and depending on what power you're using, that discipline is going to be one or another color. And then there's the elemental paradigm, which is the 4 elements: air, earth, fire, water. Again, you define a point of mana. If it's an air spell, or if it's air magic, is the proper way of expressing that. If it's air magic, you spend air mana to channel or cast that magical effect. If we're dealing on a scale of, if we're looking at levels like spell levels or ranks of power, it goes for 1 to 5 for ranks of power, and it goes from 1 to 9. Technically, we can do 10 with spell casting, and it's 1 point of mana per level of spell or rank of power. So a 3rd level spell or a 3rd rank power would be 3 mana, and if it was an air power, like say Fly is a 3rd level spell, that's an air spell. So if you could use 1 point of blue, since blue is flight and air and sky magic in general, you'd spend 1 point of blue, and then the other 2 points could be whatever you want. If you had abundant step, which allows you to have a sustained power to be able to basically step as a, you can maintain, you basically turn this thing on, and you can fly for your movement as long as you're touching the ground at the end of your turn. Otherwise, you fall. So that's abundant step. I think it's a 1st or 2nd rank power. So 1 or 2 mana. But if you decided to make that an air, power, then you'd spend 1 point of air, and then the rest of the mana could be whatever you want. But you could also decide that it's like an earth power. So when you use it while you're striding across the ground, you could be manifesting little stones that you run across, or you could decide that like a rock catapults you off of the ground to fling you at an enemy. Those can both be abundant step powers expressed in different ways. Fire, you could have just like literally jets of fire coming out of your feet like the Fire Nation does, and fly to your enemy while and then the fire sparks out at the end of your turn, and you come back down to the ground. So you can use a lot of different ways to express stuff. The elemental system is a lot more fluid and loose because it's only narrative. There's not a lot of hard points that define what is air versus earth versus water and air, earth, fire, water. Thank you. There you go. But you could also do it like fire, water, and wood. Like those could be. That's a triad. That's a three aspect magical paradigm. So there was a toy back in the 80s. These little monster action figures, and they were either in fire, water, or wood. Fire burns wood. Wood floats on water. Water puts out fire. It's paper, rock, scissors, but with elements. So pretty cool. But you'd have a triad in that system. You could have binary of like the light and dark side of the force. Like you put like necrotic stuff on the dark side and conjuration stuff on the light side, and you could have some of them be on both sides. Just depends on how you want to split up the force and different effects that you could do. So a lot of really fun options you can play with there. So we have a bunch of ways for us to spend mana. It's half casting, progression. Your power die is the die that you roll when you're like making skill checks or like when you're boosting D20 tests or when you're dealing damage. If you roll multiple dice, you add it up to deal more damage. If you're boosting a D20 test, then you the amount of dice that you roll, you take the best results and you burn all the dice. So, but I want to go in here and reformat this, and I think the answer that I want was an aspect of the dragon. So give me a second here. World Unfurled, Breath of the Dragon, Draconic Presence. Here we go. As you tap into the mind, once this feature turns a failure into a success, when you fail a Charisma or Charisma Persuasion check, you can take a reaction to re-roll the check. Once this feature turns a failure into a success, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. You can also restore your use of it by expending 1 focus point, no action required. Once this feature reaction, you can use a reaction to re-roll a check. Once this feature turns a failure into a success, you can't use it again. I'm trying to figure out the wording here because what I want to do, the reason why I'm exploring that space, we'll go back to that in a bit when we start cleaning up those edits, but my main task right now is I wanted to update this while I was thinking about it. Let's see, I want to go to sustain powers. These are things that you can turn on and they just stay on. Because we have a kicker effect that I wanted to mess around with. Empowered ability. There we go. Let's see. Where's the kicker effect? I need a kicker. Give me a second. Track down a kicker effect. Come on, dog. Kicker. Thank you. Jeebos. Yeah, I should indent those, huh? Let's go back to the end of the list, and then we'll look for kicker effects, and then we'll indent them accordingly. This has been a really fun system, and I'm really looking forward to the next playtest. I'm going to skip this this week because it's a holiday, and there's a decent chance I'm going to be out running around doing barbecue stuff and yucking it up. Kicker... Nope, no kickers there. And then looking for... There's no kickers and strikes. Target, curse, kicker, kicker. Good. Kicker. Reactions have kickers. Maneuvers definitely have kickers. Kickers are when you spend the points and you can choose to spend more points to do a thing. Cool. Okay, we got that figured out. Okay, so here's what empowered kicker. While this power is sustained, you can roll up to 1 power die per mana spent. You can roll 1 power die per mana spent up to your max channel limit, adding the highest roll to the result of any ability check or save using the chosen ability. If the check fails, you return the mana to your pool. Return the mana to your pool. Restore the spent mana. Yeah. So you could choose to throw 5 dice, and if you fail, you'll get all 5 mana back. But you get to roll 5 dice and pick the best result. Chances are you're probably going to succeed if you have the ability to throw 5 dice that are all d10s. Probably going to nail it. So if you really want to throw all that dice, you're going to hit the number and you're going to lose all 5 mana. You probably only need to spend 2 to get above 50%. But if you're rolling a d10, you really want to hit it, 4 or 5 dice will probably get you 8 to 10. So it's worth it when you got to do it. I want to look. You can sustain this power multiple times, choosing a different ability each time. That's a great ability for rogues. I recommend that empowered ability be on everybody's sideboard so you can have access to it without having to finish a long rest. It's super useful, especially when you're transitioning from combat to exploration or social challenges. Because you don't need the combat stuff so much. It's just eating up space on your list. So if you can swap out some abilities to be more useful for you, that really comes in handy. Yeah. The Battlemaster can do it as a bonus action. It's insane. Battlemaster is fat. Let's see if there's any other sustained powers here that might have, or if there's any other powers, period, that have language like that needs tending to. Because it feels really good to use mana if you know it's going to have a result. Using the mana and not getting anything out of it sucks. Most of the things that we have here in the game have either it automatically works and then the creature can get out of it at the end of its turn, or they has some sort of a minor effect. So it's pretty useful to be able to just crack off stuff and make use of it. Mind Sense, Ghost Walker, nothing there. Celerity, no. Just trimming through the list here real quick, just looking for stuff that will give attack bonuses. Increased damage and bonus to strength ability checks. Applies to melee attacks. When huge, add both dice. When huge, add the higher power die result to your ability checks as described. As described in exploits above. Got it. That's a sustained effect, so there wouldn't be anything to refund because it's just always on, except for that kicker effect. Let's see, is there anything else? Of course, I might have to 20-minute timer. I might have to push the balance on this stuff once we actually see everything. While this power is sustained, you can roll. Yeah. That's the thing we just built. Close quarter combat, crouching stance. I love crouching stance. It's such a fucking cool power. Close quarter combat. With this power sustained, you gain the grappling. You gain the grapple mastery, and you add 1 power die to any grappled check you make, or the DC to end grappling with you. This power die can be added to any power dice spent while channeling the grappling check strike power above. Excuse me. Let's check out. No, these only trigger when you hit. So the damaging effects, and then the kick. So they always deal damage, and if the target succeeds the save, they still take extra damage. Sometimes they automatically get afflicted with something. Other times they get a saving throw against it. If it's an affliction, it normally ends as soon as they succeed a saving throw, or at the end of 1 round. Or they get the save first and then make a save at the end of each of their rounds. But they always, if you're using a strike, you're always dealing damage. And you're dealing extra damage equal to a number of power dice equal to the mana that you spend. So they're always useful. Plus they have kicker effects. As a reaction, when you drop to 0 hit points but don't die outright, you remain conscious and roll a number of hit dice, power dice equal to the mana channeled, gaining up to your maximum. up to your, I don't need to write that. Hexproof as a reaction to when a creature you can see targets you with a spell or magical effect. You are unaffected by it, wasting the spell effect. Power die. Fatestorm as a reaction to when you or a creature you can see makes an ability check, attack roll, or saving throw. You can alter fate by rolling a number of power dice equal to the mana burned. You can choose to either increase or decrease the results of the highest by the highest power die roll. As a reaction. If increasing the result, if increasing, you can alter fate by rolling a number of power dice goal. You can choose to either increase or decrease it. If increasing the result, if increasing the result results in a failure, you get the point back. If decreasing the result results in a success, you get the points back. Come on, man. If increasing the result of the roll results in if increasing the result of the roll still fails. If the roll fails after increasing the result, or if the roll succeeds after decreasing the result, return the mana is restored. Is that how I worded that? How did I word that? That's language that I'm looking for. I should have it memorized. You restore the spent mana. You restore the spent mana to your pool. Comma, you restore the mana to your pool. If the check fails, you restore the spent mana to your pool. There we go. Reactions 3. Come on, buddy. Where are you at? There you are. You restore the spent mana to your pool. Cool. Okay, good enough for now. As a reaction to a creature you can see moving, teleporting, or shifting planes, it takes damage and then it saves. Saving grace. Reroll any attack, ability check, or saving throw, including any number of power dice. That's just a reroll, so that's a reaction. That's fine. As a reaction to when a creature within reach you really attack, you can see hits another creature with an attack. You can redirect attack to target another creature you can see within reach of that attack using the same attack roll, but you prevent a creature from taking damage. And you potentially deal it to somebody else. The risk is whether you damage somebody else. The points are spent on saving your friend from being hit. Counter as a reaction to when a creature within range of your weapon attack casts a spell. Make an attack. If it hits, the target takes damage and must make a Constitution saving throw against your channeling DC or half the damage dealt. If the save fails, the spell is disrupted as though affected by counter spell. If the attack misses, you restore the spent mana to your pool. As reaction, attack, feint. Roll 1 power die per mana spent this way, adding the highest result to your attack roll. Feint. As a reaction, to when you miss an attack roll, you can roll again, potentially turning the miss into a hit. As a reaction to when you miss an attack roll, you roll again. The attack misses. You restore the spent mana to your pool. There we go. Yeah. Downtrodden. Roll 1 power die per mana spent this way, adding the highest result to your attack roll. Restore the kicker mana to your pool. Yeah, because you're spending extra mana to try again. You get the attack as the reaction that costs you a point. So you may as well, I don't know, you might not need to spend the extra mana. That's the fun of it. Misses. If the attack misses. As a reaction to when a creature you can see moves into or within the reach of your melee weapon, you can make an attack, even if the target is using the disengage action. Rolling 1 power die per mana channeled, adding the highest result to the attack roll. It's expensive. 1 power die per mana channeled, adding the highest result to the attack roll. Attack roll. Got that already. The kicker. That's what we're doing. The kicker. You restore the kicker mana. Restore the kicker mana to your pool. Adding the highest roll, the result of any ability check or save using the chosen ability. If the check fails, restore the kicker mana to your pool. Stay this way. I think that's the... Yeah. So back into the reactions. As a reaction to when you or a creature you can see makes an ability check, attack roll, or saving throw, you can alter fate by rolling a number of power dice equal to the mana burned. Spent, because we're switching the language to spent. And I'll probably go with expend. By rolling a number of power dice equal to the mana spent. You can choose to either increase or decrease the result by the highest power die roll. If the roll fails after increasing the result or after the roll succeeds, you restore the spent mana. As a reaction to when you see a creature within range of damage, deals damage. Reroll any attack. It's 2 mana to reroll any attack and including any number of power dice. Okay, so that's not structured the same way. That's fine. Redirect, not structured the same way. Moving target is structured the same way. Even if the target is using the disengage action. Two mana. As a reaction to when a creature you can see moves into or within the reach of your melee weapon, you can make an attack even if the target... There we go. Okay. If the attack misses, restore the mana. Yeah, if the attack misses, restore the... I'm good with that. If you're missing the attack, you get it back. I'm cool with that. Feint. As a result, kicker, roll 1 power die per mana spent this way, and the highest result to your attack roll. If the attack misses, restore the kicker mana to your pool. Good. Restore the kicker mana to your pool. Cool. As a reaction to when you or an ally within reach of you of your melee attack are hit by an attack roll from a source you can see, the attack is rerolled, taking the new result. Okay, doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. Bait and switch. In addition, roll 1 power die per mana spent this way. You or the target creature. Kicker. Okay, yeah. In addition, roll 1 power die. Cool, and there is no refund because it's not a roll you're making. It's a defense you're building. Kick a roll number of power dice equal to the amount of mana. Kick this way, adding the highest result to your attack roll. There. Let's duplicate the whole block. Roll 1 power die per mana spent this way. Adding the highest result. Per mana kicked this way is probably the proper term. No, I'm good with that. Kicker, 2 mana, larger, 4 mana, super larger. Automatically works. Not that same sort of effect. Beguiling Trance, the save versus, healing, save versus. Cannot use reactions or move unless it takes the dash action. Visible. You and one ally you can see gains a number of temporary hit points. Okay. Goad. Flatten. Choose a creature you can see. It takes 1 power die of mana, force damage. And makes a strength saving throw. Okay, great. So it's automatically going to deal damage. Coordinate dash gets free movement. Coordinated action gives an ally a bonus. It's only 1 point, so that's worth. Deal maximum damage. Resilient save. When you make a saving throw to reduce damage, if the save succeeds, okay, that just automatically works. When you roll initiative, you can't fail an initiative roll, so it doesn't matter. Deal 1 power die. Precise attack. When you make an attack against a target with less than full cover, you can ignore the benefit of cover, roll with advantage, and roll a number of power dice equal to the amount of mana spent this way, adding the highest roll to your results. If the attack misses, get it back. I'm good with that. Empowered synergy, swift attunement, subtle channeling, kicker. Your movement doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. That's cool. Cooperative effort, charge, breath of life, abundant step. That's great. That sweeps it. So we now have kicker effects that when you are spending extra points to hit something, you only have to spend the points if you succeed. If you fail the check, or if you're targeting something to fail a check and it succeeds, then you get the mana back. So that's going to encourage you to make use of those powers, because you only have to spend money, or you only have to spend mana if it actually works. I'm deconstructing my mouse here real quick. It has a hair stuck in it, probably causing laser issues. There we go. Laser. How do we do this? There we go. I'm really happy with that. Okay, so I'm going to take a swig of water. I'm really happy with that. Okay, so I'm going to take a swig of water. My timer's about to go off. Listen in. All right. And we're going. Okay, cool. So that's all I needed to do for this for now. We're going to continue playtesting at level 6. We didn't do a lot of combat. We did a lot of exploration and random exploring, getting loot and neat stuff, and getting access to resources and ideas about how to defeat basically a flock of wyverns. So yeah, interesting challenge. We're gonna figure that out. And so it wasn't high energy, but sometimes you just have off days. Oh my God! I will save talking about my my Spelljammer campaign that I ran yesterday with my team. I will hold off on telling you about that until my my Eberron cartography stream in the morning. That'll be in about 11 hours, maybe 10 hours or so. We'll be on. And yeah, 11 hours sounds about right. We'll be on, and I'll tell you guys about that then. And we're gonna be back at lunch tomorrow too, in about 17-ish hours. Yeah, 18 hours. Yeah, 18 hours we'll be back on, and we'll be continuing working on all of this stuff. So what we're gonna do right now is work on the monk. So I am going to. This is just part of the process of. I'm gonna check this out here to make sure that's lined up. You should be able to see everything, right? Hold on. be here. Let's go here. Yeah. You can see some of his notes, but okay. But I need to be able to read this thing. So let's kick over here. All right. Each subclass should have introductory flavor text written in your own words. That is something that we are going to do. Not right now. Right now we're going to do hard mechy stuff. So delete features. Got it. Language that is lifted verbatim from the original source needs to be rewritten in your own words. Cool. So let's go to there. It says you can channel draconic power to magnify your presence and imbue your unarmed strikes with the essence of the dragon's breath. You command your presence is you channel draconic power when you can channel the draconic power. You can channel draconic power when you are influencing those around you and making unarmed strikes. So I'm going to hit done. Updated. Got it. Replace if and with when. When you. Accept. When you take a reaction. When you take a reaction. When you can take a reaction to reroll the check. Reaction powers are instant effects that can be channeled when you take a reaction. Triggers when specific circumstances occur as described with each reaction power. Only one reaction power can be used in response to a triggering circumstance, even if multiple reactions can be triggered. And you can only take one reaction per turn. There. Clean that up. Let's keep going on. Place R with R for reaction. R is for ununderstood. Rewrite in your own words. Draconic presence. When you fail a charisma intimidate or a charisma persuasion check, you can take A reaction to re-roll the check. Channeling. Reroll the check, channeling Draconic Power. When you fail, channeling the natural arrogance of dragons. Channeling the natural arrogance of dragons. You can take. Yeah, there's an echo. I can't mute it, otherwise YouTube thinks I'm a bot, so minimize my volume. There we go. When you fail a charisma check, you can take a reaction to reroll the check. Well, I already mentioned it above, so fuck off. R is L is long rest. Cool, back into it. R with R. Checks out. You can also restore your use of it by expending one focus point. Got it. No action required. This is the preferred language. We're going to start dropping in some notes here. Thank you. Comments. I'm over here taking notes on things I need to update, right? Based on what Adam is telling us. Free edits. Yeah, long rest, cap. Reaction. Places M with M. Unarmed strike. Damage capitalized now. Nope, damage type. Got it. Got it. You learn Draconic. If you already know Draconic, you can choose another language of your choice. Huh, okay. Well, that's not natural. I mean, it sounds like a natural word, but you better know that Draconic is a language. I guess it's there through inference, but it's gotta get inferred. Let's see. If you already know Draconic, yes, comma approved. You can choose another language. To alphabetize, this feature should go before Draconic. Write in your own words. Replace D with an. You take an attack action. Where are we at right now? 51? No, I'll end at the end of this 20-minute burst because I'm going to be doing this the rest of the night, and you've probably already gotten the large gist of it. So it's actually kind of hard to... Oh, I think we'll build new lists. We're going to build new random encounter lists for the Martial Powers playtest grid crawl system that we're doing. That's what we're going to do tomorrow at lunchtime. Nice. You know what? This is a good place for me to break. I'm going to go ahead and break. Thanks for catching up, guys. I will see everyone tomorrow, either in the morning for art, lunchtime for design, hopefully both. Later.